All right, so today's super thanks for yesterday's video at Blue Cuban 71. Appreciate your support on the last video, brother. Really appreciate it. Then we have at Cordy 73. Appreciate your support on the last video, brother. It means a lot supporting the videos. Then we have at Michael Van Kurt 3576. Always supporting the channel. Appreciate you. Then we have Ozzy 1016. You supported a few times. Appreciate it, brother. Then we have at Jacob Sparks 4419. Appreciate the support that you're giving and showing on all these videos. Appreciate all you guys. Thanks very much. All right, welcome back. So today I'm at my storage unit. RC cars stacked up everywhere, all the way to the ceiling. But the reason I'm here is because of this connector issue that we've been talking about on my Wide-Xmaxx. So I do have the new connectors installed, along with I changed out the battery end, so I no longer have to use adapters. But that's not why we're here, because I had this already, and as you see, I wrapped the batteries so they don't slam around in there. They're nice and tight. But wanted to show a couple of things. Storage unit's tight. Here is my XT90s. They've been on here 8 years now. As you see, no issues. Shrink tubing tends to stay there. I am going to cut these off and put on the IC5s. I got a lot of comments saying use the QRS8s. Why don't you use QRS8s? This is the XRT, my build. I showed this. Put big electronics into this thing. This is Max6 with a Coke can size motor that I put into this. You can see the big gauge wire. But here are the connectors, QS8s. I'll enter a clip right now of when I first soldered these up and blew up a Max6. These are great connectors, no doubt. Very expensive, great connectors. RC Guy Garage. Wing mount, definitely get you one. Think he offers them in more colors now, but my favorite is offered in green. Green was the choice. But I have to use these. They're very expensive. The bullets are overkill for the gauge wire that's in here. You know, when you have an issue, you can't get them unplugged fast. They really lock in. They have the anti-spark in it, and if you don't connect it up all the way, it'll turn on, but then you pull the trigger and it'll create such a high resistance that it'll pop the caps on here. Got to be careful with that. I use these connectors on my race builds, something that's over geared, something with thicker gauge wire. So like a Max 5, I recommend these. On a 5th scale, something that's very heavy, I recommend these, which I do have on my bigger RCs. But on these lighter RCs, all plastic chassis, X-Max, all that stuff that I send to the moon, like I said, I will be removing these, and I said it in a couple videos back that these are coming off. I'm not running this because every time I put batteries in this, the batteries get destroyed. And since I only have one set of batteries that work for this, even though I have multiple batteries, 4S packs that'll work in here, I don't have the right connectors on it. And I'm not going to run adapters on it. So with all that said, I'm standardizing for cost reasons, because I've had a lot of packs fail. Hence, these basher packs have failed because you end up with stuff like this. When the connector won't come unplugged, this is what happens to your battery. It will rip out the battery end. This battery was bought running an Wide-Xmaxx. I didn't wrap it. Battery tray came loose. This thing fell out. I didn't catch it. It ripped the wire right out of it after it had already cracked this a couple of times. So battery, no good. My fault. All my battery packs that have this style connector on it, they're no good now. Every one has been destroyed. So with all that said, I need to standardize my pack so that I can run multiple RCs for less money. I'm replacing batteries because they're flying out, or I'm crashing, or it's all my fault, but I replace batteries too much to have to keep soldering battery ends and buying battery ends because they get damaged. This is not cost effective. If you're overgearing, if you're speed running, this is the connector to run. But your day-to-day basher, and you can see I've repaired this and extended this once already. This ESC has been in here 8-9 years now, pretty close to 10. Where this one, I popped the first one because I didn't have a different color jumper. I wired this end wrong. But I try to run a different color jumper from connector to connector so that I don't get confused on the positive side. But with all that said, I'm here to pick up this RC. I'm going to get these connectors changed out. I am swapping over to the IC5s. I've already swapped all my brand new battery packs over to it. And since I have batteries to run for these two units, that's what I'm going to do today. But I just wanted to come on here and say I have tried it. People that know my channel, you can see right here, it's already cracking right there. But I have tried it, I have used it, and it's just not necessary. My XT90 in the blue one, been in there for 9 years, no issues. Just got to buy a better connector to switch over these Max6s to, so that, oh, that's cracked right there. But I'm going to load this up. We're going to get this thing out, and I want to bash this thing too. I got some Wide-Xmaxx tires up here I got to re-glue, so I'm going to bring those as well so that I can get out ripping this thing tomorrow. But just wanted to let everybody know, or at least the one guy who keeps saying run this connector, it'll be worry-free. It's not always worry-free. Becomes more money running these connectors. There's no local shop around me that carries these connectors. The last time I bought them, I think I bought a set of 40 on eBay, and it was close to 450 bucks, I think, with shipping. 40 or 50 of them. I think it was 50. 450 bucks for some connectors, and they're in my speed builds. And now I'm left with a bunch of ESC ends and no battery ends, because I've had so many batteries fail that I needed more of the females than the males. So there we go. I'm gonna get this thing loaded up so that I can get this one switched over, since I have 2 more connectors that I can install. Be right back. All right, soldering up the Wide-Xmaxx. Went ahead and cut off my XT90s. Like I said, these have been on here 8-9 years. probably close to 10 now, and haven't had an issue with these at all. But the orange X-Maxx, I had XT90s on there, and they were starting to turn brown, and all the batteries, I've been getting these, and I was told switch over to this, that the bullets are better, and I was having problems with connections. Somebody said get better solder. I have really good solder, always have. And then of course flux, which you should be using on all your connections. With that said, we're going to solder this up real quick. Iron's nice and hot. Gotta put one cap on and the other cap on. But you can see that's how it should look. Nice and full, not coming out the backside. Just fill the whole inside and it should be shiny. Alright, so got the new connectors onto the Wide-Xmaxx. I do have the orange X-Maxx in the back seat. So we're going to give this thing a rip and see how it does. This one has no wheelie bar. So we're going to get up here early morning, give this one a rip, and see if the connector is going to fall off. It's kind of cool right now, that's why I'm not running the orange one. I got new connectors on the orange one as well. I just want to make sure that the orange one is going to last during the heat. All right, going to give it a little test rip right over here. The Wide-Xmaxx is just so stable. Got some kids coming over here. We'll walk down a little bit. Gonna go ham with this thing because it's nice and cool right now. Oh, that was a hard impact right there on that corner. I got them in there tight, connectors are holding. That chassis took a hard hit. This thing really woke up when I retuned the controller. That's why these diff cups are not lasting. Somebody said they wanted me to explain what I talk about air control and what I'm doing in the air. So I'll try to. Trigger, trigger. I tap the trigger to get it to rotate so that I try to time it to where it's landing flat, whether it's tapping the brake. Trigger. No brake on that one, just because the front was a little down. See, you'll hear the trigger taps, and I'm just trying to level the RC out. Trigger, and then just let it rotate around off trigger. You don't want to land on trigger. See how it was nosing over? So the goal is, whether if it's going to land on the rear, you would tap the brake a little bit. If it's going to hit the front, then you really want to tap the trigger. So don't max out a jump. Don't hit a jump at full speed. You never want to hit a jump at maximum speed, because then you have physically no air control other than brake. So you really got to leave yourself some trigger and some brake. So I try to hit a jump at about half trigger, so that I have, you know, the other part of the half of the trigger to control it in the air. That's what I mean by trigger control. I do see people hitting jumps full speed, as fast as the RC can go, but then you have no air control. So if the RC starts to drift onto its nose, you don't have any wheel speed left to control it in the air. And that's where ballooning, the tire ballooning, really means a lot. So belted tires, you have less air control because the tire doesn't grow. Some people are saying tie up your connectors. They do crack, as you see. That's cracked right there. Velcro your connectors. I've seen that a bunch too. That's how I ended up ripping that battery. I had zip tied the connectors, the one I showed in the storage unit. I had zip tied those connectors because they kept coming off. So I zip tied them, said, it's no big deal. Then the battery got ejected, the wires held on, and it caused a lot of damage. So whether you Velcro it or you zip tie it, I'd rather have the connector pop off on a hard landing than it stay connected when a battery get ejected. Now there is that other scenario where the battery comes disconnected in the air, which I, rarely have had that happen in the air, that the battery comes unplugged. I have had it low voltage cut in the air. I've had temp cut in the air, and I've had them get desoldered, as you've seen. You see where I tapped the brake right there to bring the front down. Some big rocks have been washed down off the mountain. This thing, this was placed there. Yeah, it's a big rock. Gonna head over. This is the indestructible body on this X-Maxx. I've treated this X-Maxx so hard its whole life. This is my original X-Maxx, and it's got some upgrades, and every time I've broken something, a couple of times I've tried to find a solution and an upgrade and added some support braces, which I feel is made this RC real, indestructible. And then when I went to the wide kit with the wheelie bar installed, it just didn't have the oomph that I was used to, and I found myself running the orange X-Maxx a lot more than running this one. Once I recalibrated the ESC, rebinded it to the remote, recalibrated the endpoints on the trigger, I noticed that the power came back, and then I got rid of the wheelie bar, and that was like a game changer for this RC. Since it's so stable, like on the orange one, I use the wheelie bar as like some sort of bumper. On this one, I don't have to.
See how I tap the brake to bring it down? Tap the brake, bring it level. See, that's where the wheelie bar would have really flipped this thing. So stable. Big ravine right here. Hard to get the run up. See, I tapped the brake right there to bring it level. On the downward slope. There is a little water here today. We'll see if we can mob through it. See if we can mob through this water. Oh, that's a lot of mud right there. Pretty fun. This thing's always a beast. Now that I washed it, I'll let it drip dry, drive pretty slow. But there we go. Connectors haven't come desoldered on this one. So does the orange one have a resistance issue? Is the ESC starting to go bad? Is it just the temperatures throughout the day, the time I'm running? We're gonna find out, because I'm gonna rip the orange one later on today as the temperatures get close to the hundreds. All right, just gonna try to rip it out here a little bit. Thought there was a walkway up there. Try to get the dirt off the tires. So the ProMoto MX front tire has come in. So I'm gonna run down and pick that thing up now. So I'll put a, God, this thing got muddy going through that water. But MX front tire is in, so I should be able to get a speed run on this thing soon. I'm gonna run down, pick up that tire that came into my local hobby shop finally, and we can get a speed run done on the ProMoto MX. So I went ahead and picked up both GPS units. I'm going to put 2 GPSs on it in case one fails, and we're going to try to do a speed run with that thing. So stay tuned for that. A lot of things coming to the channel. Definitely appreciate everybody's super thanks that they've been doing in the last few videos the last couple of weeks. It's really helped the channel a lot, because now I have more time and more money for some of these repairs. it really does make a difference. I go through a lot of money, spend a lot of time and money on gas, going through this stuff and making these videos. But I appreciate everybody's support. Whether you donate or not, it doesn't really matter. This is my hobby. I love doing it. I'm going to do it for fun anyway. It's just nice to see the appreciation from people doing those super things. So like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. Oh.